On June 30th, 2025, I changed the way a man played chess for life. I'm playing in the World Amateur Open, and I come to the board and I have the black pieces. I sit down and my opponent plays the move pawn to g4. This throws out all my preparation. I have no idea what's going on whatsoever. I then respond with the move pawn to d5. I think I'm attacking the bishop here. I'm attacking the pawn here. I'm very happy. Then my opponent plays the move pawn to h3, and I spend 10 minutes looking and analyzing the position, trying to come up with a plan or something I should do. The problem with playing chess like this, though, is that white gives black such a massive advantage. As in the game I went c5, they responded with bishop g2, and I went knight c6. And I then went on to win this game, cleanly pushing through, because my opponent's pawns are just so weak, and they're not fighting for the center whatsoever. After this game, I sat down and explained to my opponent what he did wrong in the opening, and after half an hour, I convinced him that he should play proper openings in chess. In the next 3 games he played in this tournament, he won all 3 of his games. And I'm gonna tell you what I told him. I explained to my opponent that there are 3 main objectives of the opening. The first one being you want to control the center, or these 4 central squares, and also the squares around the center too are very important to control, as your pieces can move a lot quicker through the board than they can around the board. Now, you should start off the game putting a pawn in the center, and if you're able to, put a second pawn. Then you want to develop your minor pieces, which are your knights. First, bring your knights out. And then your bishops. And then finally, we want a castle. Now this position is called the bull's head position, where white has all their pieces developed and black has nothing. And you're never going to see this in a game of chess whatsoever. But the reason this is good to show is it's the optimal squares for all your pieces and what we should be aiming for when playing in a game. Now, how a real game might go would be white putting a pawn in the center e4, and black would respond with e5. We can't play d4 here because we take. If they didn't put a pawn in the center and said e6, you should always put 2 pawns in the center if you're able to and your opponent lets you. But most people are going to play the move pawn to e5. We should develop a knight, attacking their pawn. They bring a knight 2 out. We develop our other knight, defending our pawn for when he attacks, and we bring out a bishop. They bring out a bishop too, and we just castle. Our opponent castles, and we're very happy here just playing the move d3. Our opponent goes d6, and then we pin their bishops. And this is how the average game of chess goes on chess.com. A very common position where both players develop their pieces and bring it out. Both players are very happy, but no player gives up a massive advantage like my opponent did just playing the move pawn to g4 on move 1, d5, and then h3, giving it up as they failed to control the center. You should also be very careful with all your opponents because they might not copy your move. They could play the move b5 here, and if you just lazily castled, all of a sudden you lose a bishop. So you have to watch what your opponent is doing and grab the pawn here instead of castling. Giving you an advantage, they'll go, let's say, bishop e7, and then you'd castle here. And they might go d5, another inaccuracy where they should just castle, and if you just ignore it and go d3, well, you're gonna miss this free knight here where you fork their rook and king. Now, will this change the way you play chess?